Welcome to The Secret Place with Steph Abane. 5-minute devotions for hungry hearts and searching souls.
Hello, I'm back. It's Steph. You're back with me in the secret place of the Most High God, as the psalmist says. And I hope that you've been enjoying these little 5-minute devotionals with me. If you have a question or you'd like to chat via email or text, please feel free to send me an email at stephasong, that's STEFFASONG, @AOL.com. Yeah, it goes way back to the 90s. I've always kept that one. Today's little devotion is having to do with God's order. The word for the day is order. And it's based on Proverbs 15:9. It's from the Charles Ringma, Jacques Ellul Devotional. I love this little 1-minute devotion. There's so much meat to think about, to bring before the Lord in prayer, to talk about, to unpack together. Here it is. God's order has more to do with the practice of love, justice, and mercy than it has to do with the creation of systems and institutions. Theologians have rightly emphasized that God is responsible for the orders of creation, namely family, work, and the state. Moreover, God instituted the priesthood and the kingship in the Old Testament and the church in the New Testament. Thus, God's order is expressed in certain institutional forms. The emphasis for us then becomes, get the structures right, and we will express God's rule on earth. But this, let me tell you, this can get us way off the mark. For the emphasis should not fall so much on the structures themselves, but on the quality of life these structures are meant to reflect. Ellul goes so far as to say that God's order is not organization and institution. God's order is reflected in the practice of love, justice, and mercy, and all institutional reality must be circumscribed by this tripartite heartbeat. If this does not occur, then our very institutions may exist to serve merely as the status quo, and so eventually become oppressive. Practice the revolutionary way of life, he says. Practice the revolutionary way of love, justice, and mercy. So call the system to account. Not always easy. You gotta love Jacques Ellul. My goodness. Call the systems into account. Some of us are bolder than others. Some of us do have more knowledge. Some of us see the wider expanse of a situation or a fact than others. And if you are one of those folks, you will have to pick your times, your turn carefully of when to speak truth to power. A structure or an institution, infrastructure is a lot like our own skeletal system. Our flesh and blood hang on that skeletal system. You know, our flesh and blood, our organs hang on these bones that God has given us. And we need them. So we need some organization, and institutions aren't evil, but boy, sometimes they can become like an skeleton, where they, can you imagine what a grotesque thing this would be looking like, where our bones, our skeleton just is outside of our flesh? Oh, grotesque, dead, not alive. And when an organization or an institution becomes so big in their structure or their skeleton that it usurps the place or the proper place of the whole organism, then it is grotesque, it is ugly, and it is harmful. It's deathly. And so we need not bow to our institutions and our organizations. We need to find ways to live with them and in them peaceably, lovingly, in loving resistance to the corruption and oppression that they sometimes bring. And you hear tones of Ellul as such an activist in this little devotion. He was a part of the French Reformed Church, and for many years had Bible studies and home church meetings in his house, resisting some of the things that he saw that didn't seem right or fair or especially biblical. So this is something that we all need to tangle with. Thinkers from the past, thinkers in the future, and you and I will prayerfully have to tangle with how we walk truthfully and honorably with the Lord in the midst of our organizational and institutional restrictions or limitations. I gave you something to chew on. Make sure you chew on it prayerfully, and we'll be back as soon as, maybe tomorrow, we'll be back with another short devotion from the secret place. Have a great day.
Breathe, listen, and receive. Take a moment to soak it all in. Until next time.